Okay, let's try this again. For some reason, my phone decided it wanted to freeze and shut the stream down early. See if we can get some people back in here. Yeah, there we go. If y'all are from the last stream, I had to start it over because my phone froze. And if you're not from my last stream, was trying to get it working with my new Gear 360 camera, but it was every time I tried to start the stream, it said it couldn't connect. So I'm gonna have to do some research on that, because we will eventually have some live stream 360 videos, which I really cannot wait to do. And I did want to end the stream that early. It's just my phone froze. Just sitting here in the Charger. Nothing special. You flip the camera around. Nothing special. Just sitting in my carport. Got the truck right there. You can see the grill still out of it. Actually got the last grill insert drying on my back porch right now. Should have that facelift part 2 coming up in the next couple of days. But if y'all have any questions you want to ask me, feel free to leave a comment. I want to start doing these live streams on the semi-regular basis, something like once a month, like that, to try to be more engaging with my subscribers and my people that love to watch my videos. But leave a comment and let me know where you're from. From Germany, awesome. It's awesome to know that I've got followers all around the world. And another interesting fact: the extra grill, I had a complete grill assembly extra for this car that came from my dad's first Charger. I sold it on eBay, and somebody in Germany actually bought it. I don't remember now who bought it. It's been so long now, but a piece of my dad's first Charger lives on in Germany right now. I would like to put a supercharger on this car eventually, but for now, I am happy with the carb scoop. From Norway, awesome. Get my camera switched. Scoop. I would love to have a supercharger on here one day, but it will. I do want to build another motor, one that's for high performance, and because this motor, it was just a stock build. It wasn't anything special. I reused all the hardware. I didn't have to buy anything. All the hardware was good, so I just reused all the hardware, which means it's not really good for really high performance. So I would like to build another motor. I was thinking about I think it's a 496 440 stroker. I would love to build a stroker motor for this Charger. But I want to stick with the 440 family, with this Charger being an original 440 car. Sadly, the original motor's long gone, but it is an original 440 car. If yeah, I will be doing the body work eventually on this car. but I'm not really in a hurry to do it because I love the way the car looks right now. It's got such a mean, aggressive look, with being ratty and having all the battle scars of the car's been there. It's survived all the way up to this point. So first thing I'm probably going to do as far as getting it looking nice is the interior, because these seats are in not really good condition. The driver's seat especially, since it gets the most use, but the carpet in here is actually greenhouse carpet that my dad put in here. And the interior is actually green because it's out of his first Charger. The back seat's all tattered. You can see it up top right there. Back seat's tattered, so the interior is going to be the first thing I tackle. But before I do the interior, I'm going to have to repair, I think it's the driver's front floor pan. It's got some rust holes in the roof where that duct tape is right there. Right there is where I had to do some Bondo patches because of some rust holes. So the rust holes let water in, and the back floor pan is actually good, which is weird because that's where the rust holes are. But the driver's floor pan is rusted out. So I'm going to do the driver's floor pan first, and then the trunk pan and trunk extensions and all the stuff in the trunk, so I can have a solid trunk again. But once I get all that done, I'm going to move to start doing work on the interior, which I'm starting to run out of stuff to do mechanically. So that's probably where I'm going to be going next, is to doing the metal repair and interior work, starting to collect the pieces to have a really nice interior, which is the interior of this car is going to be black. And if you hadn't seen my video of me showing that original paint in the engine compartment, the original color of this car is actually, I believe it's like a JJ1 gold. And if I open the door, switch my camera around. I open my door. But yeah, it will be that beautiful gold again one day, but not for a really long time, because like I said, I really love the way it looks. From Sweden, awesome. Is there anybody from America in here, or is it all overseas? Which is perfectly fine. That's cool. I'm loving it. I've seen Russia, Germany, Norway, and Sweden. That's awesome. Yeah, you get some sleep. If it's the middle of the night over there, you get some sleep. Hope you have a good New Year. It's actually my birthday on Monday, and I have this next week off. Every year on my birthday, I like to have a week off. So I have a week to myself, and I don't have any plans to go anywhere or do anything except for tinker with the truck, or probably try to mess with the Charger a little bit. Anybody else watching have any questions for me? Feel free to ask away. And we'll try to do, I want to try to do regular live streams. I don't know how long they're going to be, but I want to try to do regular live streams to try to better connect to my audience and try to see what they want and what their mindset is. See what kind of videos you want to watch, or see what kind of videos you want me to post for you. Because I don't really have a large budget to work on this stuff. I'm kind of working on it as I can. That's why a lot of the stuff I'm doing on the truck lately is just clean up, and some of the stuff that I've already had. I was able to get up a little bit of money to rewire behind the dash, which I'm loving, by the way. Haven't had any issues with that electrical system since I've got the wiring put in, and I could swear all the outside lights are brighter. And I have a plan to get my last marker light on the side working. I just haven't done it yet. Probably gonna do these live streams probably once a month, but I haven't really finalized the time and when I'm going to be doing it every time. So y'all keep a watch out and make sure y'all hit that bell next to the subscribe button so y'all can stay updated on my videos. Well, it was one of the you were saying something in the last live stream that the sentence I understood, but the last word I didn't understand the meaning behind it. I understood the word, but I didn't understand the meaning behind it. I know it's a language barrier there. Try to do my best to understand and interpret, but I couldn't didn't understand what that word meant in relation to the car or my truck or anything. If you're new to the stream, thank you for watching. If you like my videos, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that little bell next to the subscribe button so you'll stay updated with my videos. Not really much going on, just kind of sitting in the Charger. Just wanted to say hi to everybody. So got of it still. Took a hose to it earlier today to get some of that extra dirt and stuff off behind the grill. I do want to give y'all a little bit of preview. My Facebook people have already seen this. Let me get my door open. Facebook people have already seen this, but I want to give y'all a little bit of preview of the grill that's going in the truck. Yeah, I'm trying to get my truck where it's a daily driver. It's not quite a daily driver right now. I still have some stuff to tweak on the timing a little bit. But if you hadn't seen my facelift part 1, I've got the grill out of it right now. It's only held in with Phillips head screws. Seriously, it's like 10 or 12 Phillips head screws holds in that grill. But check out that facelift part 1 that I have on there, and let me give y'all a little bit of preview of the grill. That's the work I'm doing to it. I've got my dogs back here. Back porch is dirty, so bear with me with it. But there it is. Not a professional quality paint job, but it's a lot better than it was before. And I've got a metal bracket that I'm actually gonna drill a hole like right there to put that bracket on to be able to have that corner mounted. But yeah, it's just a little preview, just a little taste of what the truck is going to look like with a freshly painted grill. I'm not sure if I have enough spray paint to paint the bumper also, but I might have to go grab another can of spray paint so I can finish the bumper too. Still making up my mind about that. Haven't really decided yet. If I can get back in here. gonna have to duck down a little bit wearing this fedora. Where'd my phone cord go? I went with white because I figured I've already got a lot of white accents on the truck. I've got the roof is white, the mirrors are white. The bumper, before I changed it, was white. So I figured I would paint the inserts white. Get my phone plugged back in. There we go. But yeah, I am, before I did the electrical work on my truck, I was disconnecting the battery all the time because I just simply did not trust the electrical system. But since I've redone the wiring behind the dash, I've left the battery connected and I haven't had any issues. I've been able to go in, fire it up anytime I want to. But I'm still having a little bit of an issue when it gets really hot. Like after I drive it for probably 20-30 minutes, with it not wanting to start. It still starts, it just, I have to sit there and wind on it a little bit. But I'm probably going to have to replace the valley pan gasket with one that has the exhaust crossover block. But not really in a push to do that because the truck's not exactly daily driver status right now. But I am working towards that. I would love to be able to drive my truck every day, especially with those new mirrors on there. Maybe be able to zoom in a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Those mirrors, I am just loving. We're going to stay on just a little bit longer, see if we can get some more people in here. Like I said before, not sure how long I'm going to stay on with these live streams, but I would like to have a little bit of a regular schedule of doing a live stream, just connecting with my subscribers, seeing where they're from. So far on my first live stream, I was at a car show a couple of years ago, I think, or a year ago. I had people from all over the world saying that they're watching from across the seas, like in Russia, just like in this stream. I've had a guy from Russia, Norway, Germany, Sweden, so all kinds of places. Now, and if y'all are wondering, let me get the camera switched around. If you're wondering about that emblem on right there on my truck, the emblem is an adventurer, but I just love that emblem and was able to get my hands on one. And that stripe, I don't think it's a factory option, but it's something somebody added on. And I'll check out one of my last couple of videos on my truck. I don't remember which one it was. I think I've done a video on it, but I've got some custom emblems on it now that came off of the parts cab. Matter of fact, I'm not sure if I've shown that, so let me go ahead and get out again and show you those. There we go. That's those custom emblems. That was not perfectly straight, but I did a template off of the parts cab and was able to get those put on. I'm loving those custom emblems. I got that on both sides. I think this one went on a little bit straighter. But I am just loving these mirrors on here. I still can't get over how awesome they look. Now I will be replacing the heads eventually, because those are old and rusted. And the rubber is shrinking a little bit on that side especially. Get back, sit down in the Charger. If you're new to the live stream, welcome. Just thought I'd do a little bit of Q&A session and connect with my subscribers a little bit, see where they're from. There we go. Kind of sitting in the Charger, and when I do this in the future, probably gonna switch it up and do some in the truck, do some in the Charger. This time I'm doing it in the Charger. Get my phone plugged back up here. Tricky Nikki B, thank you. It is a very awesome. I don't know if you're talking about the truck or the Charger, but they're both awesome. So, and if you hadn't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and hit that little bell next to the subscribe button so you can stay updated with my videos. If you like my truck, I have got a lot of videos on my truck. I'm actually doing a facelift on it, doing a little bit of a facelift and painting some stuff and cleaning, switching up parts that I got off of a parts cab. But go check out all those videos I got on my truck. I got a bunch. I've had my truck for I don't even know how long now. At least 4 years, I think. 4 or 5 years. Hard to believe it's been that long. But it's definitely come a long way. When I got that truck, I had to rebuild the brake system, go through the fuel system. I got a gas tank for it, redid the gas tank. I've got some videos on that. I've got had to get the tailgate mounted in a very interesting way. I got some videos on that. And here recently, last year, I was able to do a lot of work to it. I got just getting it to where I can actually drive it and trust it. And if y'all didn't know, the front end rebuild I did on my truck was actually kind of a forced project that came up because somebody had fell asleep in their car while they were driving one morning right before July 4th, or right on July 4th actually, I think. And quite literally bounced off my truck a couple of times and then plowed into a car that was sitting behind it. And it damaged the leaf spring, damaged the gearbox and everything. But that's why I had to do the front end rebuild. Sorry about that. That's why I had to do the front end rebuild, because it was, I didn't trust it. I couldn't really drive it. But it's all good. It's all shiny now. And I did get some parts off. Like I said, I found a 1970 camper special that I was able to grab a lot of good parts off of. I was really thinking that I was going to be able to put on what they called a power assist back then on the trucks, but the control valve was rusted internally pretty severely, and I'm not able to use it. So I'm kind of on the fence if I still want to sell the extra pieces I have for that, or get another control valve and get all those original pieces. Thank you. Yeah, I am very fortunate to have my Charger, because my dad saved it. It actually sat on concrete blocks in my backyard my entire childhood. And then we had somebody, I still don't know who it was, peeked over our fence and reported it to the city that we had a junk car in our backyard, and the city said we had to move it in 7 days. Thankfully, at that time, my dad had a shop here in the town I live, and we were able to move the Charger over to his shop. And it sat there for a few years. Then we were able to move it inside. Then I was able to get the gas tank out of it and start actually looking at it. Then back in December 2009, he had to close down his shop because he kind of ran out of money. And the way he puts it, he ran out of money. He didn't have any more money. So that time, I honestly think it was the that Cash for Clunkers program did him under. That program they had took away a lot of good cars off the road. But hindsight's 2020. Not like, ignore that. I wasn't thinking. But in January of 2010, my dad actually had a stroke, which is why in the first Crank Up video, that's why y'all see him hobbling around, because he had a stroke. Just got done eating a salad with salsa. Okay. Congratulations. If you're new to the stream and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and hit that little bell next to the subscribe button so you can stay updated with my videos. Depending on what it's on, but I don't like too much salt. Nice. Neighbor of mine, a few houses down, actually has the Fox Body Mustang. I think he's actually got a couple of them. I don't know if they're a 5.0, but he definitely races them. And there's somebody that lives kind of around the corner that has like a, I forget what year it is. I think it's in the 60s or 70s. The wheels and engine. Yeah, let me get out. Doors kind of sag a little bit, so I kind of have to hit the door a little bit. Pet salamander. I've actually got some fish, and I've actually got about a 10-inch plecostomus, which is awesome. Never had a plecostomus that big before. Growing up, we had them a few times and cared for them, but could never get them to go big. This one is surviving, and it's actually about 10 inches long. Let me switch the camera around. There we go. There's the wheels. I haven't been cleaning them like I should, so they got some rust spots on them. I could probably get that cleaned up, but the way I look at it, it fits the Charger. So I'm honestly not really concerned about that. A little bit of a backstory on this right here. If y'all have wondered and seeing some of my videos, my dad had some Kragers on here years ago when he was actually driving this thing back in the early 80s. And he was pulling out of a parking lot, and he saw a wheel roll by. He tried to accelerate and realized that was his wheel. The Kragers he had on here was that type of wheel that needed that special washer, and it must not have been tight or something, or he over tightened them. I don't know. But then it literally, that wheel literally sheared all the studs off the side and folded the quarter panel up. So that's why that's there. Let me get to the motor. Oh, and yeah, this has been. That's been dangling for a few years now. Kind of become a staple of the Charger, the way it looks. I would like to have a new one, but it's and I tried to super glue it. I got some super glue residue on there. I tried to super glue it. It held a little bit, and then it just fell. I just figured, screw it, just leave it alone. Here's the motor, and here's that original paint that I was talking about. I am thinking about pulling the motor out. I will fix that dent whenever I get around to replacing the sheet metal. But until then, I'm not really concerned about it. But yeah, there's the original paint. I am thinking about pulling the motor whenever I'm doing it, is I will have to rebuild the transmission. I don't know exactly when, but I know that's coming up in the future. But I thought about pulling the motor so I could clean it up really good, give it a fresh coat of paint, and while that's out, go ahead and get all this black spray paint out from here, so I can have a nice, pretty original paint engine compartment. What's better motor, 440 or a Hemi? It's all a matter of what you want to do. I've heard of that some 383s can actually outrun 440s because the 383s can actually wrap up quicker. The 440s have more natural low end torque, and the Hemis in their stock form, I don't think they're all too impressive as far as power, but they have massive potential. The Hemis have massive potential when it comes to aftermarket and mods and everything like that. But if money's no object, I would say Hemi all day long. But if you're on budget, 383, 400, or 440 is going to be just fine. And got my line lock right there. Don't have it mounted down anywhere. It's just kind of sitting there. And if you wonder what that is, this is my coolant recovery tank. Picked that up at a car show for like 10, 15, 20 bucks, something like that. But I'm loving that I have a recovery tank on here. I need to get one of these for the truck, but I'm not sure how, I'm not really sure where I'm going to mount it. And I did clean up the wiring a lot on the truck. Looks a lot better. I am very happy with it. I still need to put some zip ties in a few places to try to clean up a little bit. But I'm happy with the way the wiring is right now in the truck. And with the grill off the truck, I can actually try to straighten up some of this and get it looking better and try to mount that in a better location so it's not right there. Whoever had my truck before was not really skilled in doing stuff right. Because look, that's how it was. Bare wire on bare wire in a lot of places when I was doing the wiring behind the dash. Yeah, I am very happy. I am very happy with these AP manifolds, because I know people say headers are still good. I'm sure they are, but I am very happy with the stock manifolds, because from what I hear, in stock form, if you're running basically stock, they do run the same as they do run very similar or the same as headers. But I like those because I can still use a factory starter and I don't have to mess with those mini starters. Charger and the truck still start perfectly fine. But on the manifolds on the truck, when I was getting the 383 parts together to get the 383 in here, I had to look around to be able to find what manifolds I had to use on here. And I just got some truck center dump manifolds for the truck. I know I got plenty of room for headers, but the truck is going to be built. The truck is being built for daily driver reliability. So I didn't want to go too radical with it. I could have put on some exhaust cutouts like I have on the Charger, but I'm honestly happy with the stock, with the just the dual exhausts that I have on here right now. But if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay updated for all my videos. Yeah, the motor I would love to put in my Charger that I've recently done research on is actually a 496 stroker. I didn't want to go too radical with the stroker because I still wanted it to be a decent daily driver. All right, let me sit back down in the Charger here. Yeah, I want the Charger to still be a good daily driver. And from what I've read and the research I've done, the 496 is still is a good middle ground. But I don't even have another motor yet right now, so that's not really in the near future at all. That's just long-term plans. I would love to have a 496 stroker in here, and I know I could go cheap with getting a 400 or a 383 block and putting 440 rods and stuff in it to make a stroker. But my Charger being an original 440 car, I wanted to stick in the 440 family, which means I got to spend more money. But probably going to shut it off here. Probably when it hits that 40 minutes, probably going to shut it down. But thank you everybody for watching. And if you have any questions for me or suggestions or stuff you want to tell me, just leave a comment. Let me know, and I'll respond to it. We'll keep it on for a few more minutes. If you're new to the stream, let me know where you're from. So far, we've had as far as Russia, Sweden, Germany. I might have to use Google Translate on that because I don't, whatever language that is, I don't speak it. And if y'all are wondering, I'm actually born and raised in the South. I actually live about 15 minutes from Elvis's house. Elvis Presley in Memphis. I live about 15-20 minutes south of that. I know y'all have seen it, but that Budweiser crate that y'all have been seeing in my videos, I actually picked that up at a yard sale. On one day I was coming home from the that Samstown show that I go to every year. A few years ago, I was going home and I found that at a yard sale for like 15 bucks. So I could not pass that up. It's like a perfect little crate to put my car show stuff in. $289. That's Chevy, isn't it? I'm not really versed in the Chevrolet motors, but I think the 289 is a Chevrolet, isn't it? Oh, Ford. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm Mopar. I don't really. I know a few of the other motors, but some of the more rare motors or uncommon motors, I'm not really familiar with them. You're from Canada. Cool. You're the closest one to the U.S. so far. I haven't had anybody comment say that they're from the U.S. If I had the money to get a Demon, I would try to find a unrestored Daytona, a '69 Dodge Daytona, unrestored. That's what I would try to find. Even if it's in rough, dented up condition, I would rock out a '69 Dodge Daytona all day long. I don't care what it looks like. Yeah, the Daytonas are very rare, but I would love to have one. Yeah, there's Mopar is cheaper But if you want something unique, especially the part of the country I live in, is a where I live is Ford and Chevy country. You don't really see Mopars a lot, and the Mopars you do see look like they're trailer queens, and people just don't drive them. I drive mine whenever I can. I haven't been driving it a lot lately because I haven't had the money for gas. Tennessee, cool. From Michigan, 66 Dart. Nice. Got a 66 Dart because you can't get a Charger. It would be a 69 Daytona. They didn't have the Daytonas in 68. Kalamazoo, Michigan. Cool. Yeah, if money was no object and I could get any project I wanted to or any car I wanted to, it would be an unrestored, ratty 69 Daytona. I would rock that all day long, and I would not restore it. I would fix it up like I'm doing the Charger, but I would not restore it. I would not fix the dents. I would make sure everything works. I'll make sure the headlight works. I would make sure everything was structurally sound, but I would not restore it. Pittsburgh. Nice. Yeah, like Joe Dirt. If you've seen Joe Dirt, that's the kind of condition I would love to have for a 69 Daytona. Except the wheels. I'd change the wheels up and actually have some Magnum 500s on it, or just some plain steel wheels. But yeah, if you've seen the movie Joe Dirt with what's his name, David Spade. If you've seen Joe Dirt, the ratty car he drives is a 69 Daytona. I would love to have one that looks like that. Netherlands. Yeah, I've seen you commenting a lot. I'd just like to know where people are from. Not really a requirement to say where you're from. I just like to know where my followers are from. Helps me connect a little bit and know where my audience is. Yeah, just old school. Yeah, old school. I would not put any kind of high tech motor. I would not put if money was no object. If I won the lottery, it'd probably have a Hemi in it if it was an original car. I'd probably try to stick with the same family motor that it came with. But if it had a 440, I would be perfectly happy with having a built 440 in that car. And one of the reasons why I love my Charger looking like it does is because when I take it to car shows, people aren't afraid to touch it. Usually when yeah, I'm in Mississippi. And on my YouTube channel, I don't really have my name on my YouTube channel. I've got it on my Facebook, but my name's William. 446 pack, yes. 4-speed, I don't know. If I had a lot of time to play with it, I wouldn't mind a 4-speed. But I'm more than happy with an automatic because it's just easier to cruise. You don't have to think. If you're going for performance and showing off and all and the massive worth of a car, 4-speed, yeah. But I like automatic because you don't have to think. You don't have to think when you drive it. And I know people that know how to drive standard shifts don't have to think because they've been doing it a lot. They just don't do it. But having an automatic just frees up your hands. You don't have to think as much or move as much when you're driving. Yeah, I know. I haven't really. In the beginning, I was a little bit afraid to attach my name to my YouTube channel, but the more I've gone, I really don't mind. Especially since I had a Facebook page dedicated for my Charger, but Facebook forced me to change the name a couple of times. So the kind of the Chargers Facebook kind of turned into my Facebook. So if you're looking for me on Facebook, you can still should be able to still type in Charger383mopar and find me on Facebook, but it'll have my name, William. But if you're not on my Facebook, it should be linked on my channel's homepage. Yeah, I've seen that concept, that concept car that they come out with that. I think they called it the Elephant, like 1,000 horsepower. But that's definitely a unique twist on a 68 Charger with 1,000 horsepower. Yeah, Tom, when I started my videos on YouTube, I started them for me. I did it for me. I wanted to have a YouTube channel because I wanted a video history of everything I've done. And now it's turned into I'm inspiring people to work on their own stuff, get a project of their own, or work on a car that they've had for years. And when you have a car like this, or when you have an old car sitting around, it don't have to be a legendary car like this Charger. If you have an old antique car and you're wanting to get it back on the road, it doesn't have to be super pristine to enjoy it. Fix what's wrong, drive it, and enjoy it. It don't have to be perfect. Even going to car shows. Sometimes I've gotten more attention in this Charger than I have with somebody that's a perfect car sitting next to me, because it's so unique looking. Which is another reason why I'm not really in a hurry to do the paint on this thing, and honestly probably won't ever. Now the trunk, the interior of the trunk would probably be painted, and the interior done. Yeah, the Beetles are good too, and being over there, you might actually have more access to the real early Beetles. But the Bugs are cool, especially the buses. I think like the 32 window or something like that, Volkswagen bus. I think some of those older Volkswagens actually had Porsche engines in them, which is pretty cool. When it was sitting in my backyard, I was a kid. I only knew it was a Charger because of the emblems on it. I never knew it. I didn't know it was such a legendary muscle car until I started doing research on it. And I actually used to have dreams of the Charger running and driving when it was still sitting in the backyard. But yeah, when it was in my backyard, I don't think anybody asked about it, but I was a kid and they would ask my parents. So I honestly don't know. T1 transporters. I'm not familiar with those. I'm gonna have to look those up. I like to look at some of the interesting European cars. Are real cool to look at. That's right. I'm just seeing your comment on your Ford Galaxy. That's definitely a cool car. Actually, the car group I'm in actually has guy that kind of wheels and deals on cars, and he had a beautiful Ford Galaxy. And you're saying it's raven black with red interior. That's definitely cool. Yeah, I am not a big fan of the Dukes of Hazzard. I know there's nothing you can do about the original TV show because that's long gone. But no disrespect to anybody who has one or loves the General Lee, but if you have a 69 Charger, please do not do a General Lee copy. There are way too many of them out there. There are way too many General Lee copies out there. Do a tribute, do your own twist. Don't do a copy. There are way too many copies out there. And these Chargers are awesome Chargers in their own right. They don't need to have a TV show attached to it for it to be an awesome car. Yeah, and I can't even watch any of those videos of the jumps people recreate. I can't even watch it because I know half the time the cars are original cars. Yeah, they're rusted out, but if they're putting that much time and effort into getting it driving, somebody could love it. If I had money and I didn't, and money wasn't an issue with me, I'd try to get up every rust bucket 69, 68, 70 Charger I could, just to put it back in the road, even if I put it together as a bare shell to sell it to somebody, just to save it, just to stop people from tearing up those original cars. Now, if they're jumping them with parts from like AMD, from I think it's AMD, if they're using aftermarket panels, I'm perfectly fine with that. Yeah, I did see there was a video that I watched. Somebody used a Crown Vic chassis and actually put Charger panels on it. That I'm actually okay with, but it's when they use original parts from an original car, is what I can't stand. I've seen a few pictures of people just putting a twist on the General Lee theme, and which is cool. If you put a twist on it and make it your own, it's cool to me. But if you're doing a copy, it's almost like you don't have any imagination and you're copying somebody else's work. I have seen pictures of people making the new General Lee out of the newer Chargers. That it's interesting, but it's something I wouldn't do. I don't even have a newer Charger. I have an Avenger. Thought I was going to cut this off about 15 minutes ago, but had people start commenting, so I'm probably going to keep this going a little bit longer. Yeah, painting a Beetle or a Fiat 500 to look like a General Lee. I think I have seen a couple like that. Yeah, the Drive Angry movie, I think I've seen that, but I don't know if I've seen the whole movie. Trey, I'll check out your channel and check out that video. Yeah, Jacob, Roadkill's General Mayhem, that is definitely awesome. It's kind of a shame that they took out that 440 to drop in that newer. I think it's I forget which Hemi it is, but I think it's one of the newer generation Hemis. Oh, it's out the Hellcat. But they took out they replaced the the tail lights with tail lights that didn't even belong in there, and the motor's definitely cool. Don't get me wrong, the motor's awesome, but they kind of messed up the taillights a little bit. I was actually watching Roadkill's videos when they were on the Motor Trend channel, when they were actually doing them on YouTube and not on Motor Trend. I've kind of stopped watching them because they kind of gotten big and kind of gotten away from their roots a little bit. Well, I appreciate that, Tom. Well, at least the one thing my Charger has going for it is a complete interior, and mostly original wiring. I will be replacing the wiring in the Charger, mostly probably behind the dash and in the engine compartment, but that's not really something I'm really pressed to do because everything's really working right now, and I'm not really in a push for it. I was in a push for it on the truck because I didn't trust anything, and I really found some really interesting things. Yeah, I wouldn't really call my Charger a survivor, but because when I think of survivor Charger and survivor cars, I think of complete numbers matching cars that have most of their original parts. The Charger, the front cap has been replaced. When my dad got it, the original motor was long gone. It might have had the original transmission, but he had it changed to a Hemi automatic. Yeah, it's a rough survivor. It would, if I had to classify it as a survivor, it would be a rough survivor. Yeah, Jacob. Some of these cars did have what was called a tick-tock tack. My Charger did not have it. Mine actually just had a clock. But when I actually took out the instrument cluster and put in a tack in where the clock is supposed to go, so I don't have that tack sitting on the column anymore. I made a bracket to hold the tack in, and that tack is actually held in behind that, which is very nice. Nice. Trey, you talking about that Ford Galaxy you got? Yeah, if it survives as the 25-year range that people usually associate with classic cars is really needs to be upgraded a little bit. Let me read your comment. Yeah, the instrument, the turn signals that are in the hood are standard on the 68, 69, and 70 Chargers. 68, 70 were different, but I have the turn signals in the front. I have the turn signals on the rear, the turn signals on the hood, and then I still have the indicators in the dash, which is, I believe, I want to say it's right here and right there, I believe. But yeah, the turn signals were, I believe it was a standard option on these 68, 69, and 70 Chargers on the hood. One of them, my right one's working, my left one is not actually working at the moment. Third gen Chargers, I'm not really a fan of because it's just the body style. I don't like that rounded body style. I like the styling of the late 60s and very early like 1970 on some cars. But the kind of the more rounded muscle cars of the mid 70s and late 70s, I'm not really a big fan of. I know they're really good cars, but me personally, I'm not a big fan of them. I like the late 60s stuff. Well, on those marker lights on the hood, to my knowledge, they were standard equipment. It might be an option. Somebody with better knowledge might know over me. But to my knowledge, I thought it was. I'm under the impression standard equipment on the marker lights on the hood. Yeah, Tom, I would love to have a first gen Charger, 66 or 67. I would love to have one. There's a movie called Big Fish that's I think it's Big Fish. It's got a beautiful red first gen Challengers. Yes, I would not mind having a first gen Challenger. But the first gen Challengers are kind of falling a little bit behind the late 60s B bodies. But the Challengers are still up there in the value. I think if you wanted to get a roller that was complete but needed work to get running, you'd have to spend probably $15,000-$20,000 on one, and still have to dump a few thousand in just to get it running. Now, Trey, I saw your comment that you are the fourth owner of your car. I don't know how many owners were on this car. My dad bought it from somebody that he used to work with. I'm not sure who that is, Mark. Is that somebody on Graveyard Cars or something? Yeah, I'm not sure how many owners of this Charger was. My dad bought it from somebody that he worked with. He worked with a company called Aircraft Services, I believe. And he bought it from somebody that was from Ohio. So the Charger is an original Ohio car. Yeah, Graveyard Cars will never touch this car. One thing for sure, you will never see this Charger being worked on at Graveyard Cars. You can take that to the bank. The only celebrity car guy that I would ever trust this car with is the Count at Count Customs in Vegas. That's the only guy I would ever trust any project car with. But I like doing it. I like working on stuff myself because I get the satisfaction of I did it. I built this. I did this. If I have somebody else do it, I'd say I paid somebody else to do it. Somebody else did it. This way I can say I did it through my own effort. I did it. And if you have their own means to do it, figure out how to do it and do it. There's all kinds of information online, all kinds of information on how to do a lot of stuff online. If you don't know how to work on cars a lot, do the research, ask questions, watch a lot of YouTube videos, find out what tools you need, and just do it. Like if it's a brake jobs usually aren't that hard. I do all my own work. I've done all my own work for a long time. Yeah, Jacob, my dad parked the car in the backyard to work on it. And when he actually drove it back there, it was actually a running, driving car when he parked it back there. But he parked it to work on it, and it ended up sitting for 25 years because life happened. Okay, you are getting banned from my channel as soon as I get this. Let me see if I can do it now. Okay. If anybody else saw that comment, sorry about that. Any negative comments will be immediately deleted, and you will be hidden from my channel. Yeah, I have started, but pretty much the what y'all saw in the video for getting the original color uncovered. Haven't really done any more progress. I have messed with it a little bit, but I haven't really messed with that anymore because a lot of the places I'd have to get to is right next to the exhaust manifold, and it's really tight when you have to get in there and scrub and try to get stuff and try to get paint off. An original Tennessee car. Nice, Trey. That means it's should be really low rust, if any. I'm not sure if he did any burnouts, but before I answer your question, Trick Nicky, I do not. Gas Monkey is fine for TV, but he will. That's another celebrity car guy that will never touch my car. He will never. You will never see unless it's on B-roll or they're interviewing me for something. My Charger will never be My Charger will never be on Gas Monkey. I'm sure my dad, Jacob, to answer your question. Um, I'm sure he had fun with the Charger when he was driving it. I'm not sure if he did a lot of burnouts and stuff. I know he did. I know he has had this car over 100. I don't know exactly how fast he's had it, but I know he has had it over 100. And a little bit of a funny story. When my dad had this car, was driving it, he had the 383 in here, which is now in my truck. He put a 6-pack intake, an aftermarket. I believe it was Edelbrock, but I'm not really sure. But he put a 6-pack intake on here, and this Charger actually had a 6-pack at one point. But he had basically a stock cam, which has a lot of vacuum, and he didn't have. I don't think he had the right springs on the throttle return, or he would have had to change the cam or something. But when he was driving it, the engine has so much vacuum that the butterfly is actually locked wide open throttle, and he very soon took off the 6-pack intake after that, because drum brakes on a big block Mopar wide open throttle 6-pack does not stop you that well. I'm not really sure on the 6-pack setups, because I haven't done a lot of research on them, because I don't have them. I know they're out there, but as far as how they're actually set up, I'm not really sure on that. Yeah, the Mark, it's not really legal to do burnouts on the streets in the U.S. either, but that's why my burnout video is sitting in my driveway, because that's private property. The only thing the city can say to us is don't do it again, because it's on private property. That's why you won't see me having a burnout video on the street, because that's public property. And I will have a 440 burnout video, but I'm not really sure when that's going to happen. Like I said, and if y'all watched my 360 video of the truck, y'all heard me talking about the transmission in the Charger. Transmission in the Charger is starting to slip a little bit more, mostly when it's cold and going slower speeds, but it is starting to act that's actually right. But I know a transmission build in the Charger is coming soon. That's why